So I'd like to welcome all of you once again for the second day of the Journey of Self-Discovery course. And before we move on to our discussion today, just a quick recapitulation of what we discussed yesterday. Each day you will be getting a printout of the summary notes. Did you all get it yesterday? Probably today they'll arrange it. Just look at if Chaitanya Prabhu can get both the days ka printout. So every day they'll be giving out the printouts of the particular day that we discuss. So you definitely can take notes. There's no problem. It'll be good because the details won't be in there, those sheets. The discussion yesterday was search for happiness. We began by discussing the common things between animals and human beings: seed, sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending. We discussed about the differences between humans and animals, which is ABCD: ability to respond, not to react; bliss on a physical, emotional, intellectual, and of most important thing is the spiritual level. We discussed the third point yesterday, how the real problems, what's the real problem? One that is common to all, something that no one wants, and whether you want it or not, one can't avoid it. We discussed those four problems: our body, which is birth, old age, disease, and death. And also we discussed AA stands for Adhyatmika, Atmika, by one's body and mind. AB stands for Adhibhautika, caused by others to us. And AD stands for Adhidaivika, caused by higher powers in terms of catastrophes and calamities, natural calamities. The fourth point we discussed was the solutions that modern society proposes to solve these problems. The first S stands for sense gratification. Enjoy your senses to the fullest and forget your problems. Forget your difficulties. The problem is it doesn't last long. It's not a permanent solution. The second S stands for speculation. What's the speculation all about? Be positive, have a positive attitude, things will all be fine. Do some pranayam, do some yoga, your issues will all be sorted. Unfortunately, they don't. The last thing we discussed, the third S, was superficial religion, which we spoke about last night. Yagyas, astrological things, taweets, and all kinds of stuff. Once again, don't get me wrong, they do offer some kind of benefit. I'm not saying they don't, they are absolutely useless. But they have very limited capacity in truly helping us getting above what we are going through. The last thing we discussed was we are definitely looking for the right thing, happiness, in the wrong place, however. And the wrong place we spoke of was twofold. The first was things and stuff. Things and stuff cannot give us happiness, and I hope you remember the story of the samosa that I shared. As soon as our state of mind is altered, nothing around us can truly give us any fulfillment. So it's not in the thing, it's in the state of mind. And the second thing we discussed was this world is dukkhalayam. Already birth, disease, old age, death, meant to create suffering, you know. And last night we concluded by saying the famous song, Duniya banane wale kya tere dil mein samai, kahe ko duniya bana. Why did you make a world with such misery? Why did you make a world where death pervades all nooks and corners? Why did you make a world where things are not in our control? Seemingly they are. Most times, if not always, they are beyond us. You know, why? But before we even get to the why, the question really we have at hand today is there a duniya banane wala? So the discussion this evening is, does God exist? The 21st century, I feel, is a very interesting century where our phones are cordless, our cars are keyless, our communication is wireless, and our cooking is fireless. Our food is fatless, our sweets are sugarless, our arguments are baseless, feelings heartless, relationships meaningless, politics shameless, education worthless, youth jobless, salaries less and less, needs endless, lives hopeless, Human society, clueless. What to do? I think I have a clue for that. Probably all of these issues plague the human society today because looks like the human society has become godless. I don't know. We have to start looking at this and see if that's the solution. If see, that's the key. A God-based civilization, a God-based life, God-based work, God-based family life. We have to look at it. Before that, we truly have to look at whether God really exists. You know, I'll tell you, 99% of the people cannot swear and say they are believers. And probably 99% other people, they can't even swear and say they are non-believers. हम लोग थोड़ा बीच का बंदर हो जाते हैं नहीं, धोबी का कुत्ता, न घर का न घाट का. घर का, are you a believer? Maybe. घाट का, are you a non-believer? Not sure. बीच में है, मालूम है, आसमान से टपके खजूर में अटके जी. न तो आसमान में है न जमीन पे है, न तो घाट घर में है न घाट में है. I mean, a lot of you raised your hands yesterday saying नहीं नहीं हम घर वाले हैं भाई, घाट वाले नहीं हम. Some of you raised your hands by saying हम घाट वाले हैं, घर वाले नहीं है. There were many who didn't raise their hands only. I'm not calling you kuttas by saying धोबी का कुत्ता न घर का न घाट का. But I must tell you something. I don't know if there are people who can explain their belief or explain their disbelief. We're going to have that session this evening. All those who once again raise their hands saying that they believe in a God will have to tell me why. And you know what will happen when I ask that question today? Nobody will raise their hands. All those who raise their hands to say they don't believe in God will have to tell me why. And you know what they would do today? Even they wouldn't raise their hands. And all those who raise their hands to say that they are not sure will have to tell me why they are not sure. So whenever I ask any of these questions, no one's going to raise their hands today, looks like. Let's see how it goes though. A rational belief in God is something that's very rare these days, you know. A sadhu lived right next to a village, and the villagers were desperate to understand God and religion. So they all went to the sadhu, fell at his feet, begged of him, pleaded unto him, appealed to him and requested him, Maharaj, please come to our village and enlighten us on topics about God. With a lot of begging and pleading, finally the sadhu arrived and sat on his dais. And as he sat on the dais, he looked into his audience and asked the audience a question. How many of you here, seated in this audience, believe in God? All of them raised their hand shot up, you know. The sadhu said, hey, all of you believe in a God, then what is my need here? I am supposed to be telling you how there's a God that exists. So since all of you believe, he left. Now usually when you don't get what you want, now you get more desperate to get it. After a while they again went and pleaded, Maharaj, please come and address us. Once again this gentleman came, sat on the dais, looked into the audience and asked them, how many of you here believe in God? Guess what they did this time? None of them raised their hands. The sadhu said, look, all of you, so many of you atheists, non-believers, and I am alone. If I have company of yours, I'll probably become a non-believer. And he left without saying a single word. These guys were even more desperate. They got back again to the sadhu, please Maharaj, please come. And now the next time he came, he sat on the dais and asked that question, how many of you believe in God? Guess what they did? Yes, they did exactly what we have here today. Two halves. Half of them raised their hands and half of them didn't. The sadhu looked into them and said, look, those who believe in God can convince those who don't believe in God that there is a God, and I am leaving. And the sadhu left. You know what I learned from the story? Our faith and our belief is so circumstantial, isn't it? If it requires to say that I believe to get my work done, I'll do it. If it requires to say that I don't believe to get my work done, I'll do it. It's not a question of belief or disbelief. It's a question of काम क्या करता है. ये दुनिया ना केवल कैसे काम होता है इस पे चलती है जी. अगर अपने भाई बहन से काम होता है तो मंदिर जाने की क्या जरूरत है. अगर पॉलिटिशियन को मस्का मार के और टेबल के नीचे पैसे डाल के अगर कोई ऐसा काम होता है तो मंदिर में जाने की क्या जरूरत है. It's not a question of belief or disbelief. It's a question of my needs, my interests, my concerns, and addressing all of them. Now, whoever addresses that is where I go, you know. And I can tell you, this whole thing, belief and disbelief, is so much based on circumstance, you know. I remember one of my friends, this is not my friend, this is just a slide. I remember one of my friends, this is a very handsome guy, you know, it's not my friend. I remember when I was studying at the College of Engineering, Pune, I used to be a religious guy. I was born in a Marwadi Jain family, nevertheless with a lot of Hindu culture and all of that, so I would always have a tikka on my forehead. Always. And not just as a fashion. Of course, we also had fashions and all that, different days, different attires, different shoes, all that, but tikka would be there as a religious belief. Now, we had a friend who was an atheist, a total non-believer, you know. So one day, he rushed to me and said, "Arey, टिक्का लाया है क्या आज?" मैं बोला, "तू बदल गया? इतनी जल्दी you become a believer?" He said, "नहीं नहीं, I still don't believe." So then why you want tikka? He said, "I just saw L&T has come for placement. This is the final semester. In the placement cell, L&T has come for interviews and placement. And I saw the guy who came in the car to interview. He had a tikka." He had a tikka. तो अपन भी टिक्का लगा जाएगा तो कॉमन इंटरेस्ट है ना. He's immediately going to have a soft corner. अरे ये भी अपने ही जैसा है. थोड़ा simple question पूछता है. Or sometimes in the interview ask a question like, you know, "Hey, you also believe in religion? Where do you go? What do you follow?" I was thinking, look at his faith. He had no faith. He was still an atheist, still a non-believer. But putting a tikka for what? So circumstantial. If it requires to say, "I believe in a God" to get a job, go ahead and say it, man. You know? And nowadays, though, ISKCON mein to people come, many guys come. You know why? Because if they come to ISKCON temples, they get bhakti, shraddha, puja, aradhana, nishtha, you know. And these are very beautiful. And then they'll come, पूरा टिक्का विक्का लगा के आते हैं, क्योंकि मालूम है ये तो सब वो टिक्का वाली लोग हैं. अगर बिना टिक्का वाली है तो बिना टिक्का के, टिक्का वाली है तो टिक्का के. टिक्का या नहीं टिक्का मतलब नहीं है. हमारा रिलेशनशिप टिक्का है तो ठीक है. My God, so circumstantial. I'll tell you an interesting story. One lady used to come to a temple at Chowpatty, where ISKCON temple here, and she's a devotee, putting this tikka and all that stuff. And one guy was madly in love with her. Madly in love with her. This guy, I mean, he never proposed to her or anything. She just thought he's a friend. And he's thinking, nah, it's beyond a friend. So she said, "Hey, come to the temple, no? Nice talks there, nice lectures, come, no?" So he started coming to the temple, chasing her. She got married to another guy in the temple. And he became a brahmachari like me. Can you imagine? He's a monk still. He's a monk. He didn't come to become a monk. He didn't come to become a monk. I'm not discouraging others who come for this purpose, that they'll become monks. This is just one story amongst the many stories that happened in our temple. He didn't at all come to the temple to be a devotee or God or anything. उसको काय की devotee और काय का क्या? वो तो उसका पुजारी था. उसका पुजारी नहीं था. वो तो उसका पुजारी था. क्या से क्या हो गया. Hare Krishna. You know, one of our common friends, he was a doctor coming from a very wealthy family, opened a hospital, 200-bed hospital, and they invited some of us to go for the inauguration. And we knew that this fellow, from the beginning of his life, was a staunch non-believer. Staunch. So we went for the hospital opening. And in a corner, this guy was doing Satyanarayan Mahapuja. So I said, "Kya ho gaya, bhai? What happened? Suddenly you started doing Satyanarayan Mahapuja and all that. You were an avowed atheist? What happened?" He said, "Dekh bhai, करोड़ों गए हैं अस्पताल बनाने में. सत्यनारायण पूजा में 1000 रुपये लगता है. I know he is not there, but if he is, why take chances? I know that he doesn't exist, but if he exists, why take chances?" I'll tell you, 99% of the Indian public thinks like this. Why take chances? You know? अरे वो शनिवानी नहीं है, लेकिन क्यों करा ले यार. Do this Shani Mahayagya, no problem, kara lo. One guy came to an astrologer and he saw the horoscope and said, "Shani Mahadasha?" Any Mahadasha. So this guy said, "How to remove it?" He said, "Do a yagya, I'll do Shani Dosh Yagya and all that, and Dosh Shanti." Said, "How much money?" Said, 100 rupees. Said, "Sir, I don't have 100 rupees, Baba. 100 रुपया नहीं है." बोला, "कितना है?" 50 दे दे. बोला, 50 भी नहीं है. बोला, "यार 10 दे दे, करता हूँ शनि की शांति तेरे लिए." बोला, 10 भी नहीं है यार. 1 रुपया दे दे, कर दूंगा शांति. बोला, 1 रुपया भी नहीं है. द एस्ट्रोलॉजर शायद जिसके पास 1 रुपया नहीं, शनि क्या बिगाड़ेगा, तू जा. You go, what will Shani do to you? Just go. I'll tell you, people now, they don't want to take chances. Anyone who doesn't believe in God, no problem. Any atheist, I'll open the doors to this temple of Krishna. Come and kick on this. You don't believe in God, right? You don't believe in God. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in a murti. You don't believe in an idol. Come. I'll open it for you. Kick it. क्या बोलते हैं मालूम है लोग? अरे वो नहीं है, लेकिन है तो चांस क्यों लेने का? Just in case, that feeble chance, 1%, just in case. Can't play. What kind of atheists are we, you know? In India, no one can be an atheist. No one in this country can be an avowed atheist. Sorry to say. No one. They'll talk about multiple things, but at the end of the day, किधर तो जाते समय अंदर से ऐसा do that, you know. Therefore, we are here not for some sentimental understanding of God. We are here to understand methodically whether there is a God that exists. If you were to tell your friends, your kids, many times your little kids will come and ask you these questions. Mama, the teacher said this. Papa, the friend is saying like this. How do I believe? Are you in a position to methodically explain to our friends, our kids, our colleagues, and our family the existence of a God? Yes, sir. The question's on the screen. How many of you believe in a God? May I kindly ask all of you to raise your hands, please? अरे कम हो गया आज हाथ ऊपर. अरे very good, fantastic. Now may I ask some of you to tell me why, and can I ask Shiben to kindly put things down on that board, please? Okay, Kulshan's doing it. Why? Why do you believe? You raised your hand, sir, right? Please.
Because I believe that there's something more towards besides our body after death. So, maybe it's a question of survival for me.
Okay. He's saying, I think it's because of something after death. If I believe in God, कुछ तो हो जाएगा आगे. कुछ क्या? कुछ मालूम नहीं लेकिन कुछ तो हो जाएगा.
I should exist. I'll continue to exist.
You will continue to exist, and you want to make sure that your insurance policies for the future are taken care of. Right? Okay, so this is insurance. Just put there. God is there because I want insurance for my next life. Right? Am I right? Okay. Someone else? Yes, madam. Please, please. कोई तो है अपना. मनमोहन सिंह है ना? 1G, 2G, 3G, फिर सोनिया जी भी है. हाँ? हस्बैंड? नहीं? अरे क्या बोलती है देखो. सॉरी हाँ. गॉड से कंपेयर नहीं कर. यू शी ट्रीट्स यू वेरी बिग, बट गॉड से कंपेयर नहीं. सम मॉरल सपोर्ट. कोई तो है हर पीछे अपना हाथ रखने वाला. कोई तो है. देखा है आपने? नहीं. सुना है आपने? क्या सुना है बताइए? कोई तो है, उसकी आवाज सुनी है? नहीं. ना देखा है ना आवाज सुनी है, बस बोल दिए कोई तो है. हो सकता है नहीं है कि है. ठीक है जी, है. हम डालेंगे वहां. हो सकते हैं नहीं, देखेंगे बाद में, लेकिन है. आप कहती है, हमने लिख दिया मैडम. और कोई? यस सर. There must be a force required for the continuity of the system, something like a creator and a maintainer, generator, operator, destroyer. God है ना? हाँ लिख दो. G for generator, O for operator, D for destroyer. Generator, operator, destroyer, GOD. God. हाँ है ना? बराबर बोला. कुछ तो बोला. Force to maintain. Yes madam, please. All things in life are not controlled by. It's not beyond your control. Life is beyond your control, so guess there is someone who controls. Okay, you believe. Life beyond control, therefore there is someone as a controller. Okay. Okay, anyone else? Yes, madam. His presence. How? You feel his presence. Can you define it a little more? How do you feel it? Feel his presence. He's like a companion to you, like madam said, similar kind of moral support. Wow. When there is no one, there is God. जब माँ अस्पताल में है और ओटी में जाके डॉक्टर बोलता है कुछ नहीं होगा, जय माँ अम्बे, and the bells start ringing. Okay, we'll take that. What did you say again? A friend, a companion. Okay. Someone raised your hand. Yes, madam. There's something, a gut feeling from within that's telling, karo mat wo, mat karo, karo. You know, sometimes even guys say like that. There was a gut feeling that was telling me, go drink, man. Drink. No. Not saying that. I don't know which one to trust. There are many gut feelings from within. Anyway, yeah. There's something from within that's saying a strong thing. This gut feeling, some conscience, कुछ तो आवाज आ रही है अंदर से. राम की है कि काम की है वो बाद में देखेंगे, लेकिन कुछ तो आवाज जरूर भीतर से आ रही है. Someone had their hands raised. Yes. He's not there. अरे clear बाबा. Business is business. सही बोले जी आप हसानंद जी. Wish fulfilled, there is a God. No wish fulfilled, there is no God. है ना? Hare Krishna. You said something. Yeah, you had to say something. Systematic system, something like that. Chand, Suraj, generator, operator, destroyer. That's right, correct. And madam, you had to say something. Correct. Everything, a simple recipe needs a lady to mix things together, and such a big world. How could there be someone just aise kaise aa gaya? Creation and creator? Yes. Someone, you had to say something, sir. Okay. That's all later. That's all later we'll see. Who is it? Is he form, no form, existence, non-existence is all later. Now, is there a God is the question. Yes, sir. Dr. Saab, right? Yes. Okay, but there is an infinity. You accept there's something. Whether you call it God, call it infinity, call it existence, call it nothing, something, everything, no problem. But it's something. Something is there. Okay, okay, fine. Infinity. There is something though. Okay, one last take on it if anyone. Yes, madam. Wow, incredible. There are so many temples in India. There must be God. I'll tell you an interesting thing, One guy, beggar, he went to a temple, He went to an ISKCON temple and sat outside an ISKCON temple, Hare Krishna temple, with his katora and kept begging. No one gave him a farthing. Then he went to a Swaminarayan temple and sat outside the Swaminarayan temple and kept begging. No one gave him a farthing. Kisi ne nahi diya. Then he decided not to go to ISKCON, not to go to Swaminarayan. He went to the Mahanubhav Panth Krishna temple, Chakradhar Swami, and sat there with a katora. No one gave him a farthing. He was so frustrated, he came outside a pub. Sat outside a pub. Abhi to piya hua aadmi kya hai? He was anyone came out, putting in his katora like anything. His katora within 1 hour was full of money. And then he said, "Kya Bhagwan? Rehte kidhar hai? Address kidhar ka dete?" मांगा तो मिल गया इधर आके. Sorry, just on the lighter side. All right, anyway, I think we will freeze that at that now and move on to discuss it a little later. You will have to also draw a line in between if you rub off that insurance thing. Ladies, gentlemen, guys, girls, friends. How many of you don't believe in a God? अरे हे काय झालं? काल तर काही हात वर गेले. एक भी नहीं है. My God, what an incredible audience. Why do we have to have this lecture? Come on, let's go for prasad. My goodness. Not one. My job has become too simple. Okay, let's move on then. Acha, sorry. How many of you are not sure? Okay. Now may I ask you, why are you not sure? You can. So you believe in God? 50-50. 50-50 है, crack jack. 50. थोड़ा नमकीन, थोड़ा मीठा. Maybe not. You are not sure, and why? मतलब देखा नहीं, सुना नहीं, कैसे हो सकता? Someone else raised their hand, madam, someone here? Yes. As such, no proof, and the slide is proof, isn't it? Now the next one. Indeed, yes, madam. But there is a power, you believe? So that's not the problem with you. You're talking about form, deity and all that. But you do believe there is a God. Excellent. What we're going to do this evening now to begin with is talk a little bit about proof for the existence of God. Is there a proof based on which we can accept a God? Someone said earlier, creation implies a creator. C in this acronym stands for creation implies a creator. A pot, for instance, is being made by a potter. I remember in my childhood there used to be a Marathi song, फिरत्याचा का वरती देसी मातीला कार विठ्ठला तू गोरा कुंभार विठ्ठला तू वेडा कुंभार. All the Maharashtrians have pounced upon me. बोले तू वेडा झाला वाटतं आता गोरा म्हणतो. तू वेडा कुंभार. Kumbhar is a potter. And just like a potter will make a pot, and the pot doesn't come of itself, there has to be someone who made this world which is compared to a pot. Creation implies a creator. We absolutely have no problem reading Harry Potter. But when I say Hari is the potter, hundreds of questions, What is the Gita? Gita is Harry Potter's book. We have no problem reading Harry Potter, but when we ask you to read Harry Potter, the Bhagavad Gita, come on, how can there be a God and all of that? Okay, let me just ask you a question. Can you name the inventor? Oh, thank you. Can you name the inventor? James Bond? Who said James Bond? Oh my God! Pardon me? Okay, thank you, James Watt, yeah. And who, can you name the inventor, please? अरे रे Galileo, क्या students हैं आप लोग सब बचपन का, my God! Can you name the inventor? This man was amazing, Thomas Alva Edison. What metal this man was made of, I don't know. At the age of 67, the only factory he had, he had invested all his money there. And the factory wasn't even insured for 10% probably. In front of his own eyes, his own factory, everything invested there, caught fire and was being burnt down to ashes. He tried his level best, couldn't do more than anything, whatever he could do. And his son was standing there, and this fellow was smiling. His silvery hair shining in the flames of the fire. This guy came and said, "Papa, why are you smiling?" Thomas said, "Go get mom, beta." He said, "Get mom? What for?" Thomas said, "Such a spectacular fire she'll never get to see again. Go get her." The son went and got the mother. Husband, wife standing there and watching, and Thomas Alva Edison smiling, looking at this fire, The wife asked why, no answers. The next day when the whole thing was gone, finished, ashes, both the husband and the wife were on a walk. And the wife asked him, "Darling, I have a question for you. Yesterday, while our whole factory with all our investment and our money there was being burnt down to ashes, why were you smiling?" He said, "Who said the factory was burnt?" She said, "Honey, looks like you haven't slept well." He said, "Who said the factory was burnt to ashes?" She said, "Didn't you see in front of your own eyes everything being turned down to powder?" He said, "No, the factory was never burnt. All my mistakes have been burnt to ashes. I'm starting afresh from tomorrow." My God, what man, has the guts to say that? Amazing man. Who made this? Telephone, Graham Bell. Telescope, Galileo. Steam engine, James Watt. Bulb, Thomas Alva Edison. Isko quiet? Nature, which means something above. Big Bang. All right, we are going to look at that also for a while from now. Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, he made a scaled down small model of the whole universe and all the planetary systems, and he called it the gyroscope. One of his friends came in the morning, and Newton operated the spindle and had all these tiny little planets like a model all revolving. And the friend was very impressed. He said, "Hey, how did you make it?" He said, I didn't make it. Yesterday night there was nothing. And this morning, this model has come on its own. This guy said, Isaac, how can you say this, man? You're a man of science. How can you say that something just came of itself? He said, no, I'm telling you. It just came of itself. In the night I went and I slept. In morning there was this gyroscope, He said, you are a nut, man. I can't trust you on that. Isaac Newton said, if this tiny model that I have made called the gyroscope needed me to make it, and it's just a tiny model, the full-scale model of the universe doesn't require anyone to make it. I don't know how logical that would be. A person, not nature. A person makes a thing. This iPhone is made by Steve Jobs and his men. There's a tremendous amount of energy that's gone to design this phone. Your wristwatches, it means someone who's behind it. And the best ones are handcrafted ones. Not those Swiss watches and S watches, third class ones. All those are third class watches. You want to get a real one, a good one, handcrafted, handmade, with all these fine diamonds studded in there. Costs you a fortune, and people buy it. It's quite amazing. Everything, including a gyroscope, requires a Newton. Newton said, come on. How can the full-scale model be without a person who made it? You know why there's so much confusion about a creation and the creator? God above there? A common scenario in the classroom. Who created life? Where did life, we all come from? Monkey. Which Gotra? Vanar Gotra. Not Bharadwaj, Kashyap, Atri Gotras, Vanar Gotra. We all came from monkeys. Darwin's theory of evolution. Right? Where did the universe come from? A big bang. A massive explosion, and the whole creation, the whole universe was created. You know where these theories came from? It was the gift of the British Empire to all of us. Lord Macaulay, in the year 1835, came to India and he wrote back to the British Empire. This country, India, has such deep faith in the existence of a power above, a God above. Their texts and their literatures are so rich, their holy literature with knowledge of everything under the sun. Their people are so honest. I have not seen scarcity in any corner of India. I don't see a beggar sitting and begging. I don't see people stealing. Such are the people of this country. And I know for sure, if the East India Company has to rule, there is only one way. Divide and rule. And how will you divide them? They are not going to be divided. They sent a gentleman called Max Muller to India. He stayed here and studied Sanskrit for 12 years. And after studying Sanskrit for 12 years, he took the same books that say that there is a God and misinterpreted them to say that there is no God. And what was added then? Instead of God being the source of life, a monkey became the source of life. Human beings. Instead of God being the source of the creation of the universe, an explosion or a big bang becomes the source of the creation of the universe. My God. You find one little girl came up to her father and said, Papa, can I ask you a question? Yes, darling, what's it? Where do we come from? Father said, monkey. She wasn't too convinced, so she went to the mother. I said, Mama, where do we come from? The mother said, God, beta. God. The child was confused. Said, Papa says monkey. You say God. Which is true? Said, Papa's side come from monkey, my side from God, beta. You know what? The Britishers very systematically, you read the history of India and that's sufficient to tell you, very systematically removed God and religion out of the picture. You go to our schools. Every convent school has a prayer. Eternal God, creator of all, and all. We give you thanks, Almighty God, for all the benefits thou hast conferred upon us. All these praises are there. You know, if you start singing, if you go and tell the principal, you know, start singing Asatoma, Satgama, Tamasoma, Jyotirgama, Mrityorma, Amritam Gama. How can this prayer be true? Come on. I'll tell you what these gentlemen did. Very systematically removed it all, and all our school textbooks talk about Big Bang and Darwin's. No school textbook talks about a power above there. And this has been our upbringing in this country from 1947 onwards. This upbringing has come to us where we have very systematically removed him out of our life, and we very conveniently say there was a point, it exploded, and there was a creation. Isn't it? How many of you like firecrackers? Fireworks? Not those bham dhum wala. India can be too much dham dhum. You know, that Sutli bomb and all that. Green one makes so much sound. All those beautiful looking fireworks, you know, in the sky. If you've been to the UK, if you've been to the US on their Independence Day celebrations, you see all this range, varieties of colors of fireworks. In our temple in London at the Bhaktivedanta Manor, every Diwali, they have fireworks worth at least about 25,000 pounds. And it's not the temple that spends that money. It's the whole Hindu community that wants to spend that money, but come to the temple and do it together. So they donate for it. So I was there 2 years back for their Diwali celebration. और वो सब लोग उधर सब पटाखा रखा, firework. मैं बोला जलाओ ना जाके. I told the temple president, go. He said, नहीं, हम नहीं जला सकते. I said, why? He said, we are not allowed to. We have a pyrotechnician who comes, जलाता है. मैं बोला यार 25,000 पाउंड खर्चा करके खुद नहीं आग लगा सका तो मजा क्या आया उसमें देखने को. इसको अगर इतना पैसा दिया ना, पहले मेरे को जाके लगाना है उसको भेजने के लिए ऊपर. Whenever you talk about a bang, na, an explosion, it is created by someone. Even if we talk about the Big Bang theory, there has to be someone who made the bang. No fireworks just go on themselves. All the bomb explosions, there are the terrorists. There are terrorists who place these bombs in some places, time it in a certain way that they explode. Even if we do accept the Big Bang theory, there has to be someone who triggers the explosion. Let us say, okay, let's discount that. But have you ever seen an explosion giving rise to a creation? It's funny to me. It's strange and funny. Explosion is associated with destruction. Explosion is never associated with creation. But, how many of you here are Maharashtrians? Okay, good amount. How many? I don't know. How many are from Pune? None. No? In Pune, in my childhood, they used to make this out of bricks and stones. You know, they used to make a kila, a fort during Diwali. And on the last day of the Diwali, the greatest joy of all of us would be to put a sutli bomb inside. Photo. My mother used to get so upset. My sister would say, Bhaiya, bhai, don't do, mama will hit. I said, I want to, and I would hit and fly, you know. How many of you ever seen in a train there was a bomb blast, and out of the bomb blast a first class cool Bentley car came out? Explosion means destruction, isn't it? I have to tell you something. How many of you can see this? What's on here? What's on here? Flowers. What flower? Which rose? Red rose. How many dimensions does this rose have? 2. Does it have a shape and a form? Only in 2D, not in 3 dimensions, right? Does it have fragrance? Does it have nectar? Pollen? No. And what is this? क्या है जी? गुलाब, फूल गुलाब का. आगे नहीं बोलूंगा मैं, आप फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स कर देना. Huh? This is not an asli. This is nakli, 100% nakli, made of resin. How many dimensions? 3. Now it also has got a form. No smell, you know. What is this? अरे असली रोज छे ने. શું બોલો છો મોટા ભાઈ? असली रोज छे ने. हाँ, real one. How many dimensions? 3. Fragrance? बम्बई का है, कुछ नहीं आता है. बम्बई के रोज में दिन भर रामदेव बाबा का प्राणायाम करके नाक क्लियर रखे करेगा तो भी खुशबू नहीं. But a real rose meant to give you fragrance. And is there honey or nectar in it? That's when bees come and sit there. There is cross pollination. Is it not? My God, incredible. Incredible. I'm quite amazed with it. I'll tell you something. To carefully observe now. I have all these 3 here in front of me. Did this come of itself? No. Someone painted it. Did this come of itself? No. Someone made it. An artisan. And did this come of itself? Yeah. It came from an explosion. How silly, isn't it? How silly for me. It just seems so silly to me that just a painting and an artificial rose which is just made on this original needs a person to make it. And this one, absolutely no one at all. It's quite strange and funny, but indeed true that we believe in these things. The second proof for the existence of God, friends, ladies and gentlemen, please note the L in the C, Lord. C is creation, means a creator. L indicates laws imply a lawmaker. As soon as you have laws, there'll always be a person who made those laws. Traffic signals, for instance. Someone decided green means go, red means stop. It didn't come of itself. If it's a law that when it's green you go and when it's red you stop, someone decided to make it that way. Law implies there is a lawmaker. Of course, India is the only place where you have to look at both sides of a one-way road to cross the road. That's the only place where you have to do. A one-way road hai lekin, you know. India is quite amazing. Quite amazing. You have all these people, when you drive sometimes, someone's crossing and saying, wait, I have to walk. Wait. Quite amazing. GPRS, I don't know how it will work in India. Address क्या है? बरगद के पेड़ के नीचे, रामू नाई के दुकान के पीछे. Funny, you know. And the traffic police, my God, the chaos that they can have. Sometimes the traffic policemen, how they deal with us. Once we were driving, one of my friends was driving, I was sitting next to him from Pune. And this policeman comes from behind, whistling. So my friend said, I haven't broken the signal, man. Why should I stop? I said, Mama hai. Stop, don't worry. Mama se panga nahi lene ka, you wait. So somehow I convinced my friend, stop. So this guy came, high speed, you know, on the bike, and my friend pulled the window down. Said, me signal todla nahi. Hamazla na? So the policeman says, मी कुठे म्हटलं तुम्ही सिग्नल तोडला? अरे मग शिट्टी वाजून मागे का आला? प्रसाद. अरे इस्कॉन हरे कृष्णा वाले हैं, बिना प्रसाद के जाएगा, ऐसा चलता है क्या? My guru, Radhanath Maharaj, he came back from America, and Mr. Rishikesh Mafatlal, chairman Mafatlal Industries, Krishna Chandra Das, he went to receive him. He was driving the car and my guru was sitting right next to him. And 2 others were sitting behind. So somehow some signal thing happened and they opened the window and the policeman came and said, come on, where is your license? He's asking Mr. Mafatlal. He said, I didn't break the signal. License द्या आधी. So he said, अरे स्वामीजी आले, 6 महिन्यानंतर आले अमेरिकेवरनं. 6 months he was in America. Swamiji is in the car. Swamiji, काय नाही license? So some other monks were sitting. अहो काय मामा असं करता, सोडा ना, स्वामीजी आले आता 6 महीने के बाद छोड़ दो ना मामा, क्या करता है ऐसा, छोड़ दो. ठीक है, 500 रुपयाची पावती फाडा. So then the sadhu said, 500 रुपयाची पावती कशाला मामा, क्यों चाहिए 500 रुपए की पावती, what are you doing? साधु से पैसा लेते, अच्छा साधु कार में जाते क्या ऐसा, साधु से फाइन लेते तो साधु कार में भी जा रहे ना. So finally the devotees in the car convinced him, don't take money, don't take license, Swamiji. So he went to Swamiji's side, my guru's side, and knocked at the window. Open. So he opened and he said, pull your hand out. So he pulled his hand out and he's taking the hand jabardasti and putting it on his head. बोला पैसा नहीं दे रहा, लाइसेंस है, आशीर्वाद तो दो. And the car went on, And then my guru, Srila Radhanath Maharaj, he was saying that probably this is the only country where you can bribe a policeman by blessings and get out of the traffic. Incredible. Traffic means rules, rules. And there is a lawmaker whenever there is a law. Look at this law. Speed limits fixed. On the Pune Express Highway, there's 80 kilometers an hour, and still people speed up beyond it. And in the universal speeds of all the planets and all the highways, there is a speed limit, fixed speed. Earth, Sun, Moon, Venus, Jupiter, all planets moving at a fixed speed. They go at a law and they never go beyond their speed limits. There has never been an accident between Neptune and Plato. Never ever. You may find an accident between an ambassador and a premier Padmini. Gaye wo din. You may find an accident between a Ferrari and a Bentley, but between Jupiter and Venus? Never. How many of you are comfortable sitting right now? Any of you are feeling nauseating sensation? Ulti karne ka ho raha hai kisi ko man? Should we give you air sickness bag? No? Your tray tables are not shaking? Huh? कल आप लोगों ने कितने लोगों ने प्रसाद खाया? हरे हरे बोल, बोला जल्दी खत्म करो ना, आज भी खाना है. How many of your tables and plates were shaking? None. Do you know that planet Earth is moving at a much higher speed than a flight? While your flight is in the air, na, when you sit there, take off होता है तो कैसा लगता है? भगवान बचा लेना, हाँ, तभी भगवान याद आता है अपने आप. One guy was flying, he was flying by PIA. You know what PIA is? Pakistani Airlines. As he was flying by Pakistani Airlines, then this guy said to the stewardess, what is PIA? He said, PIA means please inform Allah. We are flying off now. So on the way back, he was coming by Air India, which is AI. That's PIA, this is AI. He said, Are please inform Allah. He told the steward, please inform Allah, we are taking off. He said, no, we are AI, already informed. You don't have to worry, it's already taken care of, Relax, chill out. I'll tell you, you sit on a plane, na? When you land, na, I see people so panicky. ऐसा पकड़ते हैं, क्या करते हैं. A lot of people do that. And you find this air sickness, nausea sometimes, headaches, severe headaches. How many of you have taken a 16-hour flight to New York? 17 hours direct? 1. How was your experience, sir? 2. One lady there and a gentleman. 3 probably. 2 of you, yeah? How was your experience, sir? Good. Congratulations. My goodness. Huh? Bhagwan ki daya se nothing happened. That's right. The tray tables are shaking when it goes through clouds. When a plane goes through a cloud, kaisa lagta hai wo kaan ke andar, ha? My goodness. You know what? This plane called Earth, na, is moving at a much higher space and speed in its orbit. किसी का चेहरा कुर्सी हिला, किसी का कल प्रसाद के समय टेबल हिला. बोला उस गौर गोपाल दास स्टुअर्ड, हे ring the bell. उल्टिया. My God, I'm quite amazed at how laws imply a lawmaker. Look at this beautiful one, you know. Sweet, no? Sweet, no? A man and a lady comes together, no? What is born? Huh? Baby, yeah. Child is born. One guy was sitting outside the maternity ward, and the sister came out and said to one other guy, twins! Twins! He said, wow, it's not coincidental. I am the owner of an incense company called Double Rose. Then the nurse came out again and told the other guy sitting there, triplets! Teen ho gaye, triplets you got. Said, really? Said, not coincidental. I am the chairman of 3M. One guy was sitting quietly, was walking away. So why are you going? Your wife is inside. Said, no, I am the chairman of 7-Up. I don't know how to come out of it. I better move out of this place. I'll tell you something. A man and a lady, you know, sperm and ovum, together, the child is born. And you sow an apple seed, an apple is born. As a default law. Why is it that when you sow an apple seed, babies don't hang on trees? Why? Why is it that when a lady gives birth to a child, an apple is not born? Arey, why? It's a law. And even before apple fell on Newton's head, still the apple was for gravity was there. ऐसा नहीं कि न्यूटन ने law बनाया. It was not that before Newton discovered gravity, apples were flying up. No. Newton's laws were not Newton's laws. They were God's laws discovered by Newton. And there's only one person under the planet who can go against all laws. Rajnikant. वो आदमी तो क्या है उसको तो किधर लॉ वॉ किधर है कोई ग्रेविटी फेविटी रहता ही नहीं रजनीकांत इज वांटिंग टू किल यू नो 3 guys are standing in front of him and the problem is he has only 1 bullet in his revolver and 1 chaku. So how to kill? So he shoots the bullet and then sends the chaku. So the chaku cuts the bullet into 2 halves. One goes to the left, kills the left guy. One goes to the right guy, and the chaku goes and kills the third. That's Rajnikant. Simple. He's the only one who can defy all laws, you know. The tooth powder he used to brush his teeth became Ambuja cement. He started a college. He started a college called Rajnikant's Medical College of Arts and Commerce and Science for Engineering. That's Rajnikant's college. Laws are laws. Only movies can defy those laws. In Japan, the hot-selling star is Rajnikant. Do you know that? Top fan. The whole of Japan is Rajnikant's fan. You know why? Because they're so methodical and pinned down to every technology. Na bole, bug gaye. Kuch to hat ke chahiye. So when they say Rajnikant doing all this kind of thing, arey, maja aa gaya. You know, laws are laws and laws imply a lawmaker. Friends, we have now moved on to the third proof. C, creation stands for, creation implies a creator. L stands for, laws imply a lawmaker. OR stands for, order and design. There's tremendous order and design in this universe. How many of you are very, very particular about the illumination in your house? Soft, thermostats. Look at this. Such subtle illumination. Creates such a fantastic ambience, you know. Otherwise, वो ऐसा white tube light लगा के 4 लग दिया पर फास करके light आ जाता है. Put all these, arrange the lamps in a certain way to get the right kind of light. Such orderly way you do it. And look at this bulb called the sun. What a bulb. A powerful bulb which has never gone on a holiday even on a Sunday. Even on a Sunday. 1 millimeter close, the planet will burn to ashes. 1 millimeter away, the planet will freeze to death. Precise order. The sun's distance from planet Earth. किसी ने रखा है वो order and design में. You know these water tanks called syntax tanks? When they are there up on top of your homes, buildings, the engineer has to take a lot of care to make sure that the load bearing capacity is proper. And what if an airplane passes through? Ghar mein wa problem. Look at these tanks, you know, floating tanks. Capacity, millions of liters of water, called the clouds. And they are airplane proof tanks. Plane passes through, aisa nahi plane gaya to barish hota hai niche. Imagine every time a plane passes through the cloud. My God, it will be an everyday monsoon season. Incredible order and design in the universe. How many of you have taken this? Slice. Mangoes. Oh wow. And look at this packaging, you know. What packaging? Such incredible packaging. I cannot imagine it. Oof. How many of you eat this daily? Or sometimes when the season is on? An anjeer, na? Incredible, isn't it? I must show you something else before I show you the anjeer. You know, in my keychain here, I have a pen drive, a tiny little one. You can see that little white thing hanging there? It's probably about 10, 20, I don't know, 32 GB, whatever, little tiny little thing there. You know, if I open it, this is how it comes. The Dakkan is gone, and my pen drive is here. I don't have to carry a big pen drive everywhere I go. I just carry this and sufficient, Baba. Plug it in. Suche tamara paase George Harrison na video. Apo ne? Take it. Huh? How much can go on this? About 32 GB. Packed in here. And you could have 1 terabyte hard disks. Huh? Can you imagine this one fruit here in my hand? Called a fig. Open it, you know. Open it. And you will see thousands of seeds. Probably over 2 lakhs. And you know what? I don't want to dirty my hand now, but kahan se dhundu main? This one seed that's there in my hand, none of you can see. So tiny, you know. Inside this is a tree. अपने आप तो नहीं आया जी. Inside this tiny little seed is a tree. Each one of these seeds, if you put it in the ground and water it, na, it'll turn into a tree. What programming? How many of you have sown rose seeds? When you take a rose seed and there's no smell. Sow it, the plant grows. My God. Smell the rose. कहां से आया जी? अचानक सीड में फ्रेग्रेंस नहीं था. Where did the fragrance come from? Such order, such incredible design. How many of you have seen a coconut tree? I'm sure all of you have. Yeah? A coconut tree doesn't give shade. You know why? Because in those days people never had cars before. In the beginning of creation, people used to walk distances. And when you are tired, most travelers and people who walk down would like to rest. If you rest under a coconut tree which gives shade, and one of the ripe coconut falls on your head, te naral na, he naral bhi phutega. Therefore, see the design. See the order and the design that a coconut tree doesn't give shade. Why? Why is it so tall up there? There has been someone who thought it to be like that. You know, a guy was passing by a field and he saw in the field, you know, this massive watermelons on creepers. How many of you seen watermelon creepers? They're all on the ground. As a tiny creepers and massive watermelons there. He said, "Jisne bhi banaya ullu hai." Such a stupid guy who made this world, putting such massive fruits on the ground, and then he was so tired he went and laid down under a banyan tree. And from the topmost branch, as he was sleeping, a tiny banyan fruit came down storming and fell on his eye with such high velocity, he hurt his eye. He went to a doctor. He fixed his eye and he fixed his inside eye also. And he said how great God is, and whoever created it, if instead of that tiny fruit, according to the proportion, if the tiny fruit was on the creeper and the melon was on top, na, Good luck. And therefore, if we carefully see, there is great order and design, in this universe. Do you know this? You know how long is his heart? It has the longest neck, and the heart is 11 kgs. 11 kilo ka heart hai, about 2 feet long. You know why? Because the heart is there in the body down there and the brain is up in the head. The heart has to pump blood all the way up to the head, like your water has to be pumped from the ground floor to the third floor. So the heart has to be extremely powerful. So powerful, the blood goes all the way up. Guess what happens when the giraffe bows down to drink water? As soon as the giraffe goes down, because the heart is so powerful, the blood will all rush at such a high speed and rupture his brain. Therefore, there is a check valve, one-way check valve in the neck veins. Whenever the giraffe bends down, the valve closes and the blood supply to the brain stops. There is a spongy tissue that absorbs that blood, and as soon as the giraffe comes up, the blood comes back to the heart as a return way. What a sophisticated mechanism, What an incredible sophisticated mechanism with such precise order and design, Comes by a big bang, no? And do you know this little bird? Yeah. Flies 1,000 miles every year. Flaps its wings 75 times per second. Try a finger. Try. 75 times per second. Total 6 million wing beats in its travel. Guess what its weight is? 3 grams. 3 grams, little bird goes non-stop flight. Even all of your flights need a break journey. The maximum flight journey available is about 20 to 21 hours. Nothing beyond that. The fuel is over. Look at the precision and the order. Do you know this one animal here called the beautiful friend of ours, camel? Can stay without drinking water for 8 days at a stretch. It lives in a desert, so the body is created for the desert, right? Can drink 130 liters water in one gulp. ऐसा पिया ना मुंह खोला 130 liters go in straight. Has got transparent eyelids. Because when there's a storm, dust storm, can't close the eyes, has to move on. Can't open the eyes, dust will go in. So close the eyes, but eyelids are transparent so you can see. How nice it would have been for us, na? Class में सो सकता है, उनको लगेगा जगह है. You can peacefully go to sleep in the class and Prabhuji will think, आँख तो खुला है, transparent है, दिख रहा है खुला. Has long feet, long legs so that the heat of the desert does not come up to the body. Precise order and design. This lady has gone into the Guinness Book of World Records, Chinese lady, for having the longest eyelashes in the world. Can you imagine? उसको देखना है तो ऐसा उठाना पड़ता है पर्दा उठाना पड़ता है देखने के. Imagine that. Our hair on the scalp grows. The hair in the eyelashes doesn't grow. It's an abnormal case. But there is design. Design there, because if the hair in the eyelashes also grows, how will you see if it grows down like this? Isn't it incredible that there is such precise design there? When you eat, like I mentioned yesterday, first the smell, first the sight, pizza. याद आ गया मुझको गुजरा जमाना खुशबू भीनी भीनी जायका शहाना इंडाना घी. This used to be an advertisement in my childhood. You look at this, then smell it, and then taste it. What an experience it is. Imagine that whole tasting experience, there is a design in it. Eyes, nose, and the tongue are in an order. You see it. You smell it. Then you taste it. Imagine if the eyes were here, the nose was here, and the tongue was somewhere at the back. तो पहले देखने का. Then you bend down to smell. Then you turn. What an incredible eating experience that would have been. And therefore there is precise order and design in the universe. Before this, I must show you something very interesting. Friends, how many of you seen the cross section of a carrot? You see the cross section of a carrot? The cross section of the carrot is like the human eye, with the retina in the middle. Do you know that ophthalmology recommends carrots for good eyesight? Wonderful that you know it. You know? If you look at the cross section of a tomato, it has 4 chambers in it, like the heart, you know, and is red in color. What does the heart do? Pump blood. Remove this juice, reddish in color. Ask any heart specialist, cardiac specialist, how for the proper functioning of the heart, tomato can be very helpful. Tomato juice can be very helpful. Ask them, medical professionals, and they'll tell you. You know, my God, I have a lot of that here. Mera dabba, mera magic can. You know this? Ginger, shaped like the stomach. Very helpful in digestion of the food. Interesting, isn't it? My God, I have some more things for you. Don't worry, I have here. Can you see this? दूर से नहीं दिखेगा. Walnut, shaped exactly like the brain. Excellent food for the health of the brain. You know? My God, look at that design there, isn't it? Hare Krishna. We are way before time, today, by the way. It's only 8:15. And I'm going to finish at 8:45 or 9, the latest by 9, don't worry. बोला जल्दी खत्म करो, प्रसाद is waiting. You know kidney beans? Shaped like a bit kidney. Excellent food for kidneys. Ask a nephrologist. He'll tell you that. You know what is this? Not broccoli, sir. Celery, thank you. Celery. Shaped exactly like bones. Excellent source for bone strength. You know. I have some more left. Something like the cluster of grapes for this thing and that thing. Some olives for ovaries. The lady's womb. Shaped like an avocado. Ask a gynecologist how avocados are excellent food for ladies, especially during their pregnancy. Ask them. Modern science has done all this research and proven. And I'm saying, how can there be no order and design in the universe? Such excellent proof to tell us that there is such order and design in the universe. Friends, the last proof today is the D, which stands for demands and urges. Whenever we have a demand and an urge, now there is fulfillment in nature. Thirst, the fulfillment is water. Hunger, the fulfillment is food. You didn't make the nuts. You didn't make the nuts. In the factory, you only get those screw-ends and nuts. But the cashew nuts and the hazelnuts and the macadamia nuts were not made in the factory. Every demand and urge has a fulfillment given by nature. And so also, our demand and urge to worship has a fulfillment given by nature. That fulfillment is called God. All of us have a desire to worship. All of us. Someone we adore and worship. Michael Jackson came to Bombay. And when he came to Bombay, there was a rock show. And there's one of our girls from our congregation went for that rock show. And Michael, a Western guy, as he was getting up to the stage, she was right there. He hugged her, you know. Gave her a tight hug. That girl did not take bath for 15 days. Well, Michael Jackson's Mahaprasad lagla mala. I've been touched by, my mother was saying, bathe. Said, no. Why? Michael Jackson is touched. His sparsha is there. How can I bathe? See how we worship people? There's a strong urge to worship, adore, admire. Elvis Presley's trash can ka trash na? One piece of trash from Elvis Presley's trash can sold for $1 million American. आप बोलेगा हमारा पास बहुत कचरा है ले जाओ, लेकिन हमको वर्शिप करता कौन है? You know, and I won't tell the name. One rock star came up on stage. Sorry about this. I hate to say it, but I must. He unzipped his pants and urinated on the audience. And there were people coming forth, few drops on us. Can you imagine this? A few drops on us, like वो आरती के बाद पानी डालते ना, तो सब लोग आगे आते, अरे हमारे ऊपर नहीं पड़ा, डालो डालो. There is a demand and an urge to worship. The fulfillment is God. So what is the proof of existence for God? See, Lord. C, creation implies a creator. L, laws imply a lawmaker. O-R, there is precise order and design in the universe. And D stands for demands and urges, means there is a fulfillment. Friends, ladies, gentlemen, now we have to move on to our second topic for this evening, and the color of the slide has changed. Right. Our second topic is, what is the definition of God? वो तो बोल दिया ठीक है, there is a God, all this logic reason works, but what is the definition of God? How would we define God? I love definitions, you know, sometimes they're amazing definitions. Amazing. You know what the definition of a lecturer is? A lecturer is he who successfully transfers the notes from his notepad to the notepad of the students without passing through the heads of either. Doesn't go through either person's head. You know what is the definition of tears? Tears is the hydraulic force by which feminine water power can defeat masculine willpower. That's tears. You know what is the definition of a boss? Boss is the guy who is always early when you're late and late when you're early. You know what's the definition of a father? A free banker provided by nature. One teacher asked the child, what is your favorite book? He said, father's checkbook. What school? A place where child plays and father pays. Amazing, I love all these definitions. What's the definition of God? How would you define God? What is God? Some people say God is light. He is light. Which light? Tube light, halogen light, sunlight. Are precise, you're defining. Be precise. Sunlight, moonlight, neon light, halogen light. What light? What is God? God is love. 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 Love between that guy and girl sitting behind hanging garden. Marine Drive. Oh, Marine Drive mein dono aisa. They're locked, you know. The eyes are locked. The Shingdana wala moves, the Shingdana in between still nothing happens. You know? Love between whom? The guy and the girl? The father and the son? The mother and the daughter? Love between whom? What is God? God is something. What is God? God is nothing. What is God? God is anything. What is God? God is everything. Hare Krishna. One guy was sitting, father was meditating. Hey ma, hey ma, hey ma, he was thinking. दोनों बोल रहा है, ऐसा बैठा है वो. Hey ma. The child also sat right next and started saying, hey ma, hey ma. Father was saying, hey ma, and thinking of Durga. And he was saying, hey ma, Dubey. His girlfriend. Called Hema. Hema Dubey. What is the definition of God? We will look at two definitions. First one. Where does the water in the tap come from? Huh? Water tanker. Where does the water in the tap come from? Pipe. Where does it come into the pipe from? Lake, river. And where does the water in the lake or the river come from? Rains. Where do the rains come from? Ocean water. Evaporated and comes down again. And where does the water in the ocean come from? Stuck, Ji? Stuck, na? You know this one? In one school there was a Hindi paper में बच्चे को बोला गौ माता पे निबंध लिखिए. तो उसको क्या मालूम गौ माता क्या है. So he wrote, गौ हमारी माता है, हमको कुछ नहीं आता है. 2 line essay. So the examiner got it. He commented on top, बैल तुम्हारा बाप है, नंबर देना पाप है. And marked the answer paper with a big 0, you know. Said, get lost. The milk in the cow's udder comes from where? Cows eating grass. And the grass is transformed into milk. Where does the grass come from? Earth. Where does the earth come from? Atak gaye ji. Source. The first definition of God is, He is the source of everything that exists, and He doesn't have a source. The first person. Usually always people ask that question. Who is the source of God then? God is defined as the person who is the source of everything that exists and has no source. Aha. The father is the source of the child. And what about his father? है ना? Grandfather. उसके पिताजी, उसके पिताजी, उसके पिताजी, उसके पिताजी. Who is that Param Pitaji who was the first one and the source of all Pitajis, all Matajis, all Chachajis, all Nanajis, all Nanijis, all Mamijis, all Taijis? Who is that one person who is the source of everything? That person is whom we call God. The first, before whom there was nothing, the one who is the source of everything that exists when you trace it down ultimately to Him. You know? I'm going to explain this whole definition through an analogy. You know, when you want to build a house, if you give all the materials for the house, you are the source of it. You pay for it. You get all the cement, you get all the bricks, you get it all, and the guy works for you. Whose house is it? Your house. As soon as you're the source, you become the proprietor. If you put the money, it's your house. If you don't put the money, obviously it's not your house. If God is the supreme source of everything, He's also the proprietor. One guy, he said, I am the boss of this house and I have the permission of my wife to say so. What an incredible proprietorship that is, na? Akbar and Birbal. Akbar said, you know what? Birbal said, सब ना सब पत्नी की सुनते हैं. बादशाह सब पत्नी की सुनते हैं. अकबर बोला ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता, मैं सुनता हूं इसलिए सब सुनते हैं क्या? नहीं नहीं, सब पत्नी की मानते हैं अपनी. बोला यार एक तो होगा जो उसकी नहीं सुनता अपनी पत्नी की. Said, call everyone, we'll do a test. So everyone was called. Birbal drew a line. Said, all those who say that we listen to our wives and follow what they say, go to one side. And all those who say we don't listen, go to the other. You know? Okay. So most people went to one side. Only one fellow was standing the other side. So Badshah said, see, I told you, ek to hai na jo nahi. So Birbal went and asked, why are you standing that side? Said, my wife told me stand on that side. Therefore I went to the other side and stood. Proprietorship comes when you're the source. If you build the house, it is your house. And if you're the proprietor, then you're also the enjoyer. If someone else comes to your house and sits and starts eating from the refrigerator, just today I made mocha ice cream. All afternoon today I was busy making ice cream. You know, I wasn't preparing for this talk. To prepare for the talk, I was busy making mocha. You know, I love cooking. I love making complicated things. My afternoon went in getting double cream and evaporated milk and all kinds of stuff to add the finest flavors to the ice cream I made, And imagine if you come tomorrow to our temple, और fridge खोल के खा लिया. अरे, I made it. I brought the ingredients. I put the effort. It's my ice cream. And if you take it and eat it, I will scream. If you eat my ice cream, My God. Hare Krishna. One lady woke the husband up frantically. Get up, get up, get up. Said, what happened? Said, चोर आया है. बोला, चोर आया, क्या चोरी कर रहा है? बोला, I made that cake last night in the fridge, now he's eating that. So the husband said, should I call the police or the ambulance? If you have baked the cake, I guess I'll probably have to call the ambulance. Source. S stands for source. P stands for proprietor. E stands for enjoyer. Is your body yours? Yes? What's it made of? You got the sources? Ingredients? Ingredients were not given by you. If the ingredients are not given, can we be the proprietor? No. If I am not the proprietor, can I be the enjoyer? No. And if I am enjoying someone else's property, what am I called? Tenant? No. Thief. अरे रे 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 बॉम्ब डाल दिया मैंने. सब लोगों के चेहरे देखो कैसे. मेरा नहीं है ये. अरे ये क्या कर दिया, मेरा नहीं है. मैं सोच रही थी अरे एक तो चीज मेरा छोड़ देते हैं, मेरा बॉडी. अरे कृष्णा, look at this definition. And you know what the definition is? The last part of the definition is, it'll prove to you it's not ours body. Prove to us it's not mine. If I am the source, if I am the enjoyer, if I am the proprietor, I am also then the controller. You know what? In my house now, I gave the ingredients, it belongs to me, I sit and enjoy in my house, and I can decide what to put where. I can put this lampshade here and the television here. मेरा चलता है इधर. कभी कभी पत्नी बोलती है, अजी ऐसा करो ना. नहीं करो. करो ना. जा तेरे बाप के पास जा. दहेज का घर नहीं है ये. तेरे बाप ने नहीं दिया है ये घर. मेरी मेहनत की कमाई से बनाया हुआ घर है. इधर ना किसका चलेगा? मेरा. ज्यादा बड़बड़ नहीं. बड़बड़ सब मायके में. Sounds very familiar scene, isn't it? Sounds like a very familiar kind of prasanga at home. If you are the source, the enjoyer, the proprietor, your control works. Right. If I am the source of the ingredients of my body, if I am the proprietor thereby, and the enjoyer as well, I should be able to control my body. Stop old age. मेरा घर है भाई, मेरा बॉडी है. एक भी बाल सफेद नहीं होना चाहिए. My body, no death. Control it. Control death. Control death. If I'm a proprietor, then I have to have control and I have to control my problems. So what is God? God means He who is spec. S for the supreme source above whom there is no source. Because the source even of your and my body, which we will hear tomorrow in detail, He is the proprietor of these bodies, yours and mine. And if He is the proprietor of these bodies, then automatically He is also the enjoyer of these bodies. We are trustees. Trustees where we have been given things to be put under our care. And a good trustee
takes excellent care of the property that has been given to him by the boss. He doesn't neglect it. If this body is God's property because He gave the ingredients to make it, I am a trustee, and being a trustee, I give full attention to take care of His property well. You know what a husband and a wife thinks? This is not my wife. अरे बोला चांगलं झालं सांगितलंय. Thank God you very quickly told us this is not my wife. Not in the sense of disowning. This is God's property under my care. How can I neglect? If I was the owner, I could have done whatever I liked. I am not the owner. Because I am not the proprietor, I am a caretaker, a trustee. That wife is God's daughter. The body is given by God. The soul in there is put by God. How can I abuse? How can I abuse a wife? How can I abuse a husband? How can I abuse a child? How can I abuse anything and anyone? When we abuse stuff, it's not mine. You may have paid the money, but you didn't give the ingredients to make this. How can you abuse it? How can you abuse any property at all? Cannot. You can imagine how this sense of accepting God changes one's mentality. How one becomes extremely refined. How one becomes extremely sensitive in dealings. You know, when you go to the bathroom, the washroom, there's a bucket of water there. You don't bend down, na? You just do like this, right? बाल्टी को ऐसा लात मार के हटाते. कितने लोग करते बताओ? थैंक यू. सभी करते हैं, हाथ नहीं उठा रहे. कौन बेंड करेगा? लात मारते हैं ऐसा, you know? Do you realize how it gets into our mentality? To deal with things like this? We deal with people also like this, you know? Can you imagine? It's all in the psyche. There is a mentality, a paradigm, a perspective that all of us have, and our behavior is all based on that. I love a beautiful quote. It says, things are meant to be used, and people are meant to be loved. But we live in an age of mass distraction where things are loved and people are used. What's the culture in the West? Use and throw. A pen doesn't get a refill again. You use the pen, you throw it. We used to always put refill, भरता है रेनॉल्ड पेन में, जब तक वो प्लास्टिक का टुकड़ा नहीं गिरेगा तब तक रिफिल डाल के चलाया हमने. You know, we never used a paper napkin or a tissue to wipe our noses and our hands, you know. We always used a handkerchief in this country, where we would need the patience to wash it, dry it, iron it, and use it again. I saw my mom in my childhood. My mom, with the milk packets that would come, na, दूध का पैकेट, वो थैली को धो के क्लिप लगा के सुखाती थी, और वही थैली में कभी जो कोई तेल वाला सब्जी होता है डब्बे में, उसको बांध के रबर बैंड लगा के देती थी. You know, any envelope that we got, which didn't have the name written on it and were not glued, was saved, that in the future we can use it. This is a country where we learnt patience. Patience to deal with things. Patience to deal with people. Because we had these paradigms in our systems, when we dealt with people with dignity. We dealt with people with sensitivity. We didn't deal with people like things. Use and throw. You know? Use and throw. All these relationships that I see today, my God. How guys and even girls use each other and throw them like a wet towel. Wet towel. As soon as we learn to accept God and understand this definition, spec, that He is the source, the proprietor, the controller, the enjoyer, and I'm just a caretaker and a trustee, I deal with everything with dignity. Deal with the thing, deal with the person with dignity. God's property, not my property. I must honor and respect it. बोले क्या हो गया प्रभु जी, अभी बीच बीच में इतना हंसा रहे थे, एकदम डोज भरने लग गया अचानक से. Are you all with me, by the way? Another about 15-20 minutes and we are done for today. The next definition, the second definition of God is as follows. You know what a wealthy man is called in Hindi? Dhanwan, right? And a learner, a strong man? Balawan, right? And a learned lady or a man? Vidwan. Dhanwan, Balwan, Vidwan. What does Wan mean? Haji? What does Wan mean? Possessor. Possessor of Dhana is Dhanwan. Possessor of Bala is Balawan. Possessor of Vidya is Vidyavan or Vidwan. And possessor of Bhaga is? क्या बात है? सुना है ना ये? कितने लोगों ने सुना है नाम भगवान? How many of you heard this word भगवान? भारत में रह के ये वर्ड नहीं सुना, कैसे पॉसिबल है? मानो नहीं मानो सुनता तो है ही. कभी कभी उसको लगता है मैं ही तो भगवान हूं. अभी कहा भगवान? बट एवरीवन हैज हर्ड द वर्ड भगवान. बलवान, विद्वान, धनवान, भगवान. The possessor of bhaga is called, what is bhag? बोलिए जी. आगे क्या? धन तो मालूम है, विद्या तो मालूम है, बल तो मालूम है. भग क्या होता है? भग. आप बोल रहे भाग, भाग यहां से. भग क्या पूछ रहा है? What is bhaga? हाँ हाँ जी. वर्ल्ड नहीं 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 नहीं. possessor of world is भगवान. दोनों. अभी आप तुक्का तो मार ही सकते हैं जी, कुछ तो ट्राई कर सकते हैं. बोल ही दो अभी, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? बोलो. लगा, लग गया लग गया, नहीं लगा नहीं लगा. हाँ ह्यूमन भगा नाना. भाग्य क्लोज बट नॉट क्लोज. हाँ भागवत भाग्य क्लोज. भागा भाग्य भाग्यवान. भागा stands for, ready? Ready? Bhaga stands for opulence. Opulence. The possessor of opulence is called Bhagavan. What do you consider opulence today? Whom will you consider opulence है इसके पास? Money. What else? What else is considered opulence? Power, fame, money, power, fame, yes. Beauty. क्या है यार? मान गए. Knowledge. अरे क्या बुद्धि है इसकी? Considered opulence. There are 6 opulences, and the whole society is judged based on these opulences. You know, Aishwarya, not Rai. The Sanskrit word for opulence is Aishwarya. Shad Aishwarya, or 6 opulences. You know, the first one being wealth. Anyone who has wealth, na, you consider him? No, उसको भगवान नहीं बोलते हैं, but you consider भाग्यवान तो बोलते ही है. हाँ, wealthy है यार, बहुत पैसा. One Gujarati boy was in London. How many of you heard of haberdashers? Habs, one of the most popular school in London. 12, I think about 2 million pounds for a year or something. Big fees, huge fees for that school. In that class, now the class teacher came, little kids there, and she asked, anyone who tells who was the greatest worshipable person in this creation, I'll give 100 pounds. So one Scottish boy got up and said, St. Patrick. Scotland se tha na? St. Patrick. He just said wrong. Then one other guy, you know, Irish guy, got up and said, St. Andrew. They just said wrong. He was not the most worshipable in the whole creation. Then there was one little boy, Gujarati boy, whose name was Kalpesh Desai. Kalpesh raised his hand. And Kalpesh said, Krishna. I'm sorry, he said, Jesus Christ. Teacher said, wow, 100 pounds, take this. And after the class was over, she called Kalpesh silently and said, Kalpesh, teacher British, but she got the Gujarati accent right. Said, Kalpesh, you are a Hindu, na? How did you say Jesus Christ is the most worshipable? Said, no, I know Krishna is the most worshipable, but business is business, no? You can definitely say Jesus and get the 100 part to jo bolla hai bolo, jitna bhai apna to business is business. No problem at all. I'll tell you, wealth is considered such an opulence, you know. आंखें चकाचौंध रहती है ना, जब सब कुछ गुच्ची का देखते हैं तो नहीं, चप्पल गुच्ची का है, सॉक्स भी उसका है, बैग भी उसका है, सब कुछ. अरे पैसा लगा यार बहुत इसमें. एक एक चीज का भाव बोलूं मैं, मुझे मालूम है, एक एक चीज का भाव बोलूंगा मैं ना, आप बोलेंगे प्रभु जी आप बहुत हिप साधु है. आपको कैसा है सब ब्रांड ब्रांड का भाव मालूम होता है? My goodness, I'll tell you, today na, you're judged as successful based on what you have, not based on what you are. Unfortunately, we are judged as a great success based on what we have and not what we are. You know, sad part of the story, but true. Yeah. Let's move on. Otherwise, we're going to stop. The second opulence, strength. What strength this man had, you know, Muhammad Ali? Sting like a bee, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That is Muhammad Ali. And in the Olympics, he couldn't put the torch there in place because he had Parkinson's disease, you know. My God. Powerful man. And he used to say, there is only one Ali. Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all. Much later when he got Parkinson, he still said, I am Ali, the greatest fool, that I thought I had that power. The third one, my God. I asked someone, कौन सा डालूं photo beauty के लिए? बोला शाहिद कपूर डालो. उसका favorite होगा. I asked today which one to put. I thought Marilyn Monroe, Madhurwala. He said नहीं शाहिद कपूर. I said डालेंगे कोई बात नहीं, आपका ही favorite है डालेंगे. अरे good looks. अरे बाबा, दुनिया बोलती है क्या चीज है. My God, amazing, you know. A teacher came to the classroom and wrote on the whiteboard, I am beautiful. Which tense is it? One kid said past tense, madam. You know, my God. The fourth thing in opulence is knowledge. It's considered an opulence. Sometimes people come and say, कितना जानते हैं आप यार? ऐसा कितना कैसे जानते हैं? Considered an opulence, knowledge. Einstein was such a knowledgeable man. A beautiful lady came to Einstein and said, Albert, you are so smart and knowledgeable, and I am so beautiful. Guess if we marry, our child will be amazing, isn't it? Smart like you and beautiful like me. Albert said, if it happens ulta, then it's a trouble. Because you don't have intelligence, and I don't have looks. The next opulence is fame. This man, my God, when he said in the microphone, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. The whole country was applauding. What a statement he made. Assassinated. And last, renunciation. Such an opulence. All the five are okay, but जिसके पास होके वो छोड़ देता है ना, that is considered the greatest opulence. बोला इसके पास इतना था, छोड़ दिया. हम लोग तो पड़े हैं उसमें पड़े हैं हम लोग. जो था उसने छोड़ दिया भले के लिए लोगों के. Warren Buffett, you know, these six are opulences. First, wealth. Second, strength. Third, beauty. Fourth, knowledge. Fifth, fame. Sixth, renunciation. These six opulences, if anyone has all six of them to the fullest degree forever, that's called Bhagwan. Firstly, we don't have all six. Beautiful है तो अक्कल नहीं. अक्कल है तो ब्यूटी नहीं. अक्कल ब्यूटी दोनों है तो फक्कड़ है, पैसा नहीं. अक्कल ब्यूटी पैसा वाला है तो कमजोर है, हवा से उड़ जाएगा. All six where anyone has. And if you extrapolate it and say, एक तो होगा जिसके पास पूरा छह है, but not fullest. Does he own the wealth in the whole creation? No. And time will take it away from him. Beauty is gone, wealth is gone, strength is gone. Who is Bhagavan? Three things. One who has all six. Second, to the fullest degree. Third, which can never be taken away by the power of time. Friends, I'm going to skip these slides because we are running 8:48. And I shall talk about these slides as we get time, because I don't truly feel that these are as much required. I will not take 1 minute extra, and I will also cover this tomorrow. Don't worry. आपको लग रहा है ऐसे भगा दिया यार? Don't worry, don't worry. I want to invite a gentleman here to help me out. How do I acquire knowledge about God? Is the next point. Can we have you? What's your good name? Oh, no, don't tell me. Okay, come, stand still. All right, friends, ladies, gentlemen, guys, girls. I want you to tell me, does anyone know you here? No. No one? Oh, great. That's a good one. I want you to tell me what the name of this guy is. I want you to tell me who his favorite cricket star is. And I want you to tell me what is his favorite food. Start. Don't give clues, huh? Haji, huh? Chhagan. अरे रे काय नाव शोधलं ते छगन. हरे कृष्णा. कल्पेश. ओके सर, थैंक यू. आज आपका नया नया नाम मिलने वाला है आज आपको. छगन, कल्पेश. ओके, एनीथिंग एल्स? राजू बन गया जेंटलमैन. राजू. ओ बाजू, राजू. अच्छा चलो, नाम तो बता दिया दो तीन. Anyone can tell me what his favorite dish is? Pizza, pav bhaji, ढोकलू, दाल ढोकली. अरे potatoes. Okay. And can you tell me who his favorite cricket star is? Sachin Tendulkar, unanimously, huh? Okay. Now let's get back to this gentleman. Okay, first let me ask you one question. What is the knowledge you can gather by seeing him? Huh? Physical appearance. He is about 5 feet 10? 5 feet? 5.8. 5 feet 8. He is kind of fairish. Handsome, huh? Of course, yeah. Okay, we get a lot about. He is slightly plump, no. It's all right. Looks like he works out a little bit. Okay, fine. No tummies, huh? Okay, no, flat bellies. Okay, fine. We can get a lot of knowledge about his physical appearance by our senses. When we use our senses to get knowledge, it's called prati-aksha. Aksha means senses. Directly using our senses is called pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means I see, hear, taste, smell to get knowledge. In this case, I have seen. You only got to know about his physical appearance. What did you do after that? Chhagan, Kalpes. What did you do? Guesswork. What is guesswork called in Hindi? Anuman. The second method of getting knowledge is Anuman. बस बैठो, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि इस बार कांग्रेस हारेगा. तू कौन है लगने वाला? मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बारिश नहीं होने वाला. अरे तू कौन है? अनुमान. लाइक यू डिड ना, अनुमान. छगन हो सकता है, आलू खा सकता है, पिज्जा, दाल ढोकली. How will you know these things? Ask him, right? Okay. What's your name?
Ronak.
Sorry, Chhagan साहब. रौनक. सॉरी हाँ राजू मैडम. कल्पेश भाई सॉरी. What is your favorite dish?
Dal, basically. I like dal very much.
Not dal dhokli, huh? Not potatoes, no pizza, no nothing at all. Who's your favorite cricket star? Do you like cricket?
Yeah. Yuvraj Singh.
Yuvraj Singh. Sorry. But thank you. Can we give a big hand to Ronak? Thank you, Ronak. The first method of knowledge, what we did was pratyaksha, used our senses, right? All knowledge today is based on pratyaksha, where we use our senses to get knowledge. And after we use our senses, what do we get? Anuman. So much of our science is all about guesswork. Although we haven't even seen it, Big Bang, we haven't seen the bang happen, still we have guessed. Creation came from a Big Bang. Did we see a monkey changing to a human? No. But we say, no, monkey became a human being. All Anuman. And what did this man reply with? When he gave his answer, how did he reply? Confidence. What did he use to reply? Words. Words are called Shabda. Therefore, the third method of getting knowledge is called Shabda. PAS stands for Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Shabda. Right? If you want to get knowledge about God, can you use Pratyaksha? Your senses? This man was at least standing here. You could see him. Can you see God? No. Are people using Anuman? Everyone's using Anuman. I think God is like this. I think God is like that. If you wanted to know about this man, whom would you ask? Him. If you want to know about God, whom should you ask? God. Is he there? No. He has spoken. And the words that he has spoken is called Shabda. Pervading the whole cosmos is the knowledge that God has given about himself in the form of sound called Shabda. Because no one can tell us better about a person than the person himself. So, kaise aayega sound mujhe? How will I be able to get that sound? Haji? Bhagavad Gita. आगे बढ़ गए अब बहुत. You know when Jitu Raj talks, is the sound existing here already? The sound is all over Mumbai. If I have a radio receiver, कुछ गाना वाना लगेगा अजीब तो प्रॉब्लम है. बोले क्या आपके इधर भी ऐसा गाना बजाते हैं? The sound is already there. All we need is the receiver. If we have the receiver, the knowledge of God given as Shabda can be received. What's the receiver? The heart is the receiver. Do you know all these sages going to the Himalayas and sitting and meditating? Why? They're doing the tuning. Like you tune your radio receiver to get the sound which is already existing. The sages were doing the tuning of their heart to get the knowledge of God spoken in the form of sound which is already existing. You know? How many ready to go? Chalo Himalaya. Tuning ke liye. Baithenge hum bhi. Ready? That is why the Lord comes as Vyasdev and writes down all what is there in that space as sound in a written format. The same knowledge, Shabda, is available in a written format. That written format is what we call as scripture or Shastra. What is scripture? The word of God. Just like Ronak, he spoke. And whatever he may have spoken here, if he writes it down, even if he is not present in front of us, the knowledge about him is available to us. You are obviously going to ask me, why should I believe in scriptures? I shall talk about that tomorrow as we move on with our next discussion. But just to quickly give you a recapitulation of what we discussed this evening. Firstly, we discussed proof for the existence of God. C, Lord. Creation implies a creator. Laws imply a lawmaker. O, order and design. D, demands and urges means there is a fulfillment. Second, we saw two definitions of God. What were they? Spec, source, proprietor, enjoyer, controller. We saw the second definition of God was He is the possessor of 6 opulences, which are wealth, strength, beauty, fame, knowledge, and renunciation. We also said that there are 3 methods of acquiring knowledge. PAS, pass. P for pratyaksha, using our senses. A for anuman, guesswork. And S for shabda, which pervades the cosmos. And because we have no capacity to tune there, it is also available by God, given in a written format, is what we call scripture. These 2 points, why put faith in scripture and seeing God, which is tantamount with the discussion tomorrow. We'll discuss that tomorrow evening. Tomorrow's discussion will be on who am I. I'm going to tell you an incredibly exciting real story to prove that there is life after death. In fact, tomorrow we have a special guest coming here, a guy whom you see. When you see, you will be incredibly amazed, simply amazed. When he shares his story with you, you will say, wow, I never knew this was possible. So hold your breaths till you come tomorrow evening to understand, who am I? Is life after death a fact or is it fiction? And as we end the talk this evening, it is 8:59. I wish to thank all of you very, very much. Hare Krishna.